Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Magic Stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and not pictured on your screen, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey everybody.
And we are back with going back to school, Wisconsin Badgers 2024-2025 season of success. Jeff, we have started off really hot.
Yep, 11 and
You know,
1. Only one
yeah,
loss so far. And show you the standings. Number one in the Big Ten. I'm just slightly ahead of Ohio State. Michigan, we thought we was going to contend. Probably they lost a few players, and that's kind of hollowed out their roster a little bit. They've got a good first couple of lines, and then shaky after that. So they're only 6-6. So they're going to have a little trouble climbing back from that. So we should be in good shape heading into the conference tournament. And Macklin Celebrini, who we were able to get last year, get him to agree to come to join us. I can't remember who he was committed to, but he switched over to us, and he's doing great so far. 22 points in his first 12 games.
all
So
right.
looking pretty good, and we're at an interesting point right now for a couple of reasons. It's National Signing Day today, so we will be able to do that in a second. We've got the top nomination in that, so we've got some options there to go over. And it's also, when we get through with that, on the schedule, I think you can see it there, we've got Lindenwood, who is off to a great start. They're undefeated, but we noticed last time they're doing that because they're basically a minor league team.
Yes.
About two-thirds of the roster is over 22. I figured out why that's happening. In the way the game figures out class year, junior, senior, whatever, at the start of the game is by looking into player histories. And since Lindenwood this is their first year in the NCAA in 22-23, it's apparently not seeing anything for these guys, and it's making most of them either freshmen or sophomores. When actually a lot of these guys have been playing for Lindenwood in the ACHA before they switched over to NCAA Division One this year. So these guys should have history, and I'm gonna have to figure something out about that because most of these guys should have graduated by now. Finnegan, for example, this was his senior year in 22, 22, 23, so he'll be graduating at the end of that. But in this game, he's played an extra couple of years, and he's still only a junior. Still got 1 year left after this, and he's actually, is he leading them in scoring? He's 18 points in 12 games, and I think he's also probably top 10. There he is in the league. So I'm gonna have to clean up the database a little bit and figure. I'm gonna have to get those stats for the ACHA, and somehow it's probably the easiest way to do it. So that'll probably have to happen in the last update. So they get a little bit better estimation as to what class year they're in. But anyhow, National Signing Day. I should quickly just go over our roster so you can see what we're looking at going into this. What we've got graduating this year, I'm going to be losing a fair bit. Kuhlman's our captain, who we were lucky enough to keep for 4 years. He didn't ever sign with the NHL. So he's probably going to be a free agent unless he gets a contract coming out at the end of this season. Losing again Latch, who's been middle pair defenseman for us most of the time, sometimes bottom pair. Let's see, Robotham. Oh no, he's a junior, the walk-on goalie. Because, well, I'll explain that in a second. And okay, Brown's going. So we're not going to lose a lot to graduation this year. It's 7 guys, but only one of them is we're going to have trouble replacing right away. And the goalie situation is one of the big concerns right now because we had Bavaris, our back up from last year, starting most of the games this year. Elias, who we had hoped to be our starter, Czech goalie that was playing the USHL the last couple of years, got him signed, brought him in, and he didn't qualify academically. So we've got him redshirted right now. So he's going to sit out this year, and hopefully he gets his act together and gets his academics in line and can play for us starting next year. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of thin in goal, and I think I'm going to have to get somebody on this during this signing day Well, I got to get somebody to replace Garrity, and yeah, we're going to need somebody signed there, just insurance, or else I'm going to have to get another walk on. There's no guarantee that we got an okay-ish guy in Robotham, but I'll need to get. I may not be as lucky next time around, so it would be nice to get a better goalie prospect. So I think sometime in the early rounds of this signing day, I'm going to have to try to get a goalie. Other than that, fairly deep at center. Only got a couple of natural right wings, but got a few guys can play over there. Maybe want to pick up another wing. Centers, we got Brown graduating, but we got Celebrini. Well, Celebrini, come to think of it, I should probably be prepared for him leaving early because he's Flyer property in this, I think. Yeah, Flyers drafted him in this game, and there's a very good chance he could sign with them as early as next season. But yeah, maybe pick up. Hmm, I see Morrison's leaving. Malmquist's leaving. Yeah, I think I need to grab a center here. Probably a right wing, somebody that's he can be have a low star or low talent ability rating and high potential. Don't need him right away. And left wing is okay-ish. And D, we're deep at D, even with Guillemans and Latch leaving at the end of the year. All right. So on
I
to
don't.
sign.
If we lose all those guys, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, well, I mean, Guillemans the only five-star guy. I don't think Whitelaw's going to go anywhere. Is he drafted? He must be. Yeah, Ducks own his rights, but I don't think they're going to pull him out of college that early. Although I could be wrong. We lost somebody. I can't remember who it was to an unexpected signing this year. One of the defensemen, I think. I can figure it out. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it was one Quinn Finley, a freshman forward from last year who had a pretty good season. Wound up signing with the Kings in the off season. How's he doing anyhow? Probably in Ontario, yeah. The AHL. Oh, he's actually was sent down to the ECHL at one point. Had a goal in his only game there, and hasn't been getting a lot of playing time so far, although it's early in the year. Oh, on to National Signing Day. And we are choosing first overall. There's the draft order there. And if you haven't seen this before, this isn't a traditional draft. The way this works is I, I get a pick, quote unquote, and I use that to nominate a player, but every other team can compete to sign with them. So I've got to be careful about trying to sign guys who are gonna aren't likely to have academic problems. You can see their intelligence rating there, and most of the early guys are fairly high. It's not a big issue, although I've got a few that aren't scouted fully. Maybe I have to check my scouting ratings. We got a hole somewhere. BCHL. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think. Yeah, I just added some scouts to Canada in the off season. I don't think they've had enough chance to get things caught up yet. I'll keep an eye on that. And as far as the guys that are already verbally committed to us, well, actually, that's not going to show you. That's going to show everybody that's committed, not only the ones that are committed that are available in this draft. The ones that are this year are Emelson, the Icelandic flag, yeah, Icelandic kid who's playing junior in Quebec, or playing midget in Quebec. So it looks like, or sorry, under 18 in Quebec. And wow, we got nothing at all there. One sort of borderline guy in the North American League. Other than that, it's just half-star guys that I might. I don't think even I wouldn't want them as walk-ons. So I think most of what I am going to do here is going to wind up going after the guys who are uncommitted. I could try to steal somebody, but my odds of getting a player are a little better if he's not committed to somebody else. Like if I tried to grab this guy and grab Sawyer here, he's already committed to Michigan State, so they're going to have a big advantage in signing him. So it's probably not a smart idea to do that. So
Probably not.
what I needed was primarily goalies and wingers Unfortunately, Sawyer's a top guy. Sachin, whose brother is a fairly decent prospect. I don't know much about him, but looks like he's dual Canadian American nationality, playing North American League. I'm going to look at the guys 3 stars and up to begin with. He's the only winger there. The best guy is Sharp, who I guess would be a Kuhlman's replacement. Where's he from? He's Canadian, but Canadian playing in Western Canadian Hockey Academy. So he's gone out west somewhere like the Edge School in Calgary or Rink Academy here in Kelowna. Filter. Let's see who the Wisconsin guys are. And okay, that's why our commitments are so lousy this year. I think it's a very weak Wisconsin draft class.
Dun dun
A couple
dun.
of them, when the one guy, the best guy in it, wants to go to Bowling Green. So yeah, we don't aren't gonna be able to do that. What about relatively close? What's Minnesota look like? Oh, geez, yeah, okay, Minnesota stacked. Carson Steinhoff, okay, playing Penticton in the BCHL. Off to a good start. Was nearly point a game last year as a 16-year-old. I think that might be our guy. Yeah, the problem is there's so many other teams in Minnesota going to be competing for him. Do you think him, or do we just go for the best player available?
I don't mind the idea of going for a Minnesota guy just because it is close. Do you see?
Okay, let's try Steinhoff. Let me just double check the scouting, make sure there's nothing weird about him. Playmaker, and excuse the he's got little codes in here. I've got this in beta mode or in debugging mode, so this won't show up in a normal game, but I'm looking at this because it makes it easier to find problems in the text. A little bit injury prone, not terribly, and it's not going to be an issue when he's this young, really. Shouldn't be. And looks like okay mental makeup, so yeah, let's go with this guy. Cross your fingers, nominating him and offering him a full scholarship. How many do you? We've got 5.5 scholarships to offer. And he says yes, so we got him. And I'm not going to try competing for anybody else. Wait, should I?
Why not?
Well, let's. Let's look at it this way. Is there anybody? Do we have to worry about the player being taken? Oh man, that's a disappointing list for the goalies. I think Cam might be our guy playing for West Kelowna in the BCHL. Our Bodiger, National Team Development Program. Well, okay, maybe we got a few guys there. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip the. There's enough depth there. There should be. I think I'm going to have to use at least the third and the number 3 nomination to go for a goalie. Oops. Oh, there we go. And it's going to take a second here because it's got to go through this for everybody. Let's see, Sharp hasn't gone yet. That's surprising. But we already took a left wing. I already took a defenseman. I really need a forward here. the list down to the forwards. Sawyer's committed. Taden Ratty, I assume that's Ty Ratty's brother? Well, but he's only 1.5 and 3-star potential.
How old is he?
One second.
And hello to
21. Oh yeah, he's old.
Miss Sheelan Pewog and our friend Seamount for Life, who, if you don't know, Seamount for Life was the person who did our voiceover in our trailer.
Ah, nice. Okay, decent looking Swedish prospect. He's only half a star right now, but he's 5-star potential, so you would think that would come up fairly quickly. You think go for him maybe?
I like it. Yeah.
Another Swedish guy, but he's committed to Dartmouth and not another one to Niagara.
Oh,
Oh no,
just
that's a Canadian guy.
because Pewog is here, and Jeff, we can't avoid the elephant in the room of trade deadline and talking about how most of the sports
Yeah,
commentators in Toronto are weeping about what's going to happen Friday. Pewog, how you feeling about that Red Wings deal today?
I know how I'm feeling about it. Okay, I'm going to nominate the Swedish guy Åkesson.
You're feeling like David Bowie and who's this lead singer of the Rolling Stones whose name has suddenly escaped my mind?
Mick Jagger. Good
Yeah, Mick
God.
Jagger. You're feeling like David Bowie and Mick Jagger dancing in the streets?
Okay. Oh, Sharp finally went. Where did he wind up going to? Merrimack. Okay, so I think I have to go for a goalie here. We did get Åkesson, by the way. And it's probably going to mean, well, we got this Ironside guy's 21 already. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Cam.
Makes sense. I will say we are currently streaming on, in case you're wondering, on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, twitch.tv/OOTP developments, as well as on our Steam page. So if you're seeing us talk to somebody who is in a different spot, that's why.
Yeah. Wait, is Ramsey the guy that? Yeah, this is the guy that couldn't make it academically for us, so I'm not going to. He's wound up going. He's actually going to school in Canada with. That's right. It's not Ryerson anymore. They changed her name. I just changed that in the
Yes,
last update.
it's
Toronto
F-
something or other.
Toronto Institute of Technology.
There we go. That's the one.
Is that it? It's something like that.
No, that would be a horrible acronym. It's got to be something else.
It's it's not that Toronto Metropolitan University.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I don't think they go with the other one. But you see why he's got 10 intelligence. That's not going to be. It's going to be really debatable if that's going to
He's
get him
sitting out a
qualified
year.
academically. Yeah.
He's sitting out a year.
Okay, and well, no, he's already sat out one, and I'm not going to try bringing him back. Let's see, Bernieri. I think we got Canadian college guys showing up in this. I got to change that so they're not eligible.
Oops.
Let's see. Maybe another forward, another Swedish guy, Ulrich. Ratty's still there.
All right.
Belarusian. Nah.
Oh no! Did I accidentally close everything? Oops.
What'd you do?
Accidentally closed everything.
No, apparently not. Discord, I can still hear you.
Nope, just a bunch of things I didn't want to close.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think Ulrich, even though he's a little older, is probably our best bet. So I'm going to use and try just to pull a partial scholarship on him. Let's see if we get him. Yep,
Von Liechtenstein.
I remember that movie. Underrated. Okay.
Pewag, anywhere number 2Z. Not that I've seen.
Nothing yet. Heard a rumor. I mean, would have been so
Yeah.
I'm glad the Canucks didn't try and get him because we probably would have given up another first rounder for him.
Well, I'm curious, Jeff. As we saw the Tanner Jeannot trade, what do you think the Canucks would have gave up for him?
I don't even want to speculate at this point. The Janot thing really is. I had to actually. I went into. I made a little adjustment to our trading logic that I think will might do something similar to what the Janot trade did. Just that basic logic. They're trying. Tampa trying to who's in cap trouble, trying to get a cheap guy that's going to be able to play for them, even though he's RFA at the end of the season. But
I was kind of hoping myself that the Jets were going to get Chikrin, but
have they made any moves yet, other than the
Nino, not since Nito
Niederreiter?
Ratter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said there's some uncertainty whether, as they've been in this tailspin, whether they feel they should or not. Actually, I don't even know how to
I'll
react
try for you.
on so many of these trades anymore. Because like, what's Pittsburgh doing picking up Mikael Granlund?
Yeah, they seem to be going. It looked like they were going in one direction, and suddenly now it's another.
And then
Okay.
former Jet Mikey Essimont gets traded to Tampa Bay
Yeah.
for Nemestikov.
I think I'm just going with partial scholarships the rest of the way.
But then Jeff, we had a trade too that you can't even do in FHM.
Which one?
I got to go back to go find it. There was the Timo Meyer trade.
Why can't?
It
What's
had
this?
13 pieces in it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Picked up a couple of guys on partials. Haven't lost anybody yet.
So, to those of you asking, because I've seen this on the forums and a few other places, Jeff, when is the trade deadline update coming? Is it going to be here Friday?
Yeah, not hardly. No, I'm it's going to be sometime later this month. We're going to need a little bit of time to. I mean, we're going to need time for the update anyhow. So I'm just going to use the extra time to give the research a little more time to do stuff in the database. And I've got a couple of little projects with the database that I'm hoping work out that I want to get in. And well, I don't want to say anything, promise anything yet, but I'll talk about them more later if it's looking good.
Yeah. Actually, for that matter, the trade engine in FHM couldn't do the Tanner Jeannot trade either because
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
sixth,
no, no, that
first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and a cow foot.
yeah. And aside from the fact it doesn't make sense at all in the engine, because was his. I think he's about. I gotta make the. I'm not even sure he's 3 stars. Okay, one more winger, I think, and then maybe a defenseman.
Actually, there was a really interesting article on the Athletic about,
Or
you know,
forgot about
going
Will
back
Clemens.
over deadline moves and what some of those picks turned into, and it was, you know, not really good. Picks are so promising, but it
A lot
didn't
of
look as
scholarships.
exciting as I wanted it.
So we're getting the guys to play for no scholarship here, and some of them may wind up rejecting us.
Beetle 55 says Boston is the wagon of NHL for this year. Next year is looking shaky. All these teams making move, and some of them at least one or two of them is going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yep. Or for some reason are adding players when they're clearly not going to make the playoffs. Right, Jim Rutherford? Okay, I think I'm nearly at the point where.
Well, you also have people who in Philadelphia who are upset at their team not doing anything. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
This Ironside 21-year-old goalie is still sticking around. I'm going to grab him on and see if he'll go on
I like it.
a non scholarship just as a safety thing.
And he did.
And yep, got him. Maybe one more guy here. How many? One more defenseman, I think. There we go, Johan Franzen.
I'm
Think we
gonna
have to
think a
take him.
different one. Right, a different one.
I would assume he's 21.
I don't know. He could be not telling the truth about his age.
Yeah, disguises himself and comes back as a 21-year-old playing junior and just hope nobody checks like that kid in the Little League World Series a few years ago.
I'm 12. I somehow don't believe you.
I forget a few. I'm going to take one more Swedish guy. Just, oh, nope, I'm at the roster limit, so.
Okay, athletic trade grade. If Ron Hextall could have realistically made a worse move, I'd be interested to see it. The Penguins are done.
Okay, so there's our signing day. What did we get? Steinhoff, I think we got most of the ones we were looking for. Got picked up a few Swedes. Uh, Hopefully,
I
some
like
of
the
these guys
bounce.
make progress in the next year.
Although
Didn't
you
take any
didn't pick up a
Americans at all, actually.
hmm,
Oh, except for Steinhoff, the top guy.
not a lot of defensemen. Three defensemen,
13
four
guys
defensemen.
coming in. Well, we already had extra defensemen. I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, there's the
Actually,
list.
Jeff, you asked me earlier. I don't remember if it was before about the what does Columbus want quick for it? Can you imagine how awkward that plane ride was from Winnipeg?
What?
Well, the trade came out after the game in Winnipeg, so the guys found out in the locker room. Like Anze Kopitar was like almost crying during his talking about like his 4 goals he scored in
Yeah.
Winnipeg, and then Quick had to fly back with them to LA.
It was a strange trade because they gave up a number one overall too. Don't really understand the logic there. Although LA then made a move today where they got Eric Portillo, the guy who was probably the best goalie in college hockey last year.
If he signs.
Yeah, so if they got a good goalie prospect coming, so that works out for them. And we are number two in the country and about to play the number one team. And we have a couple of injuries at the moment. Erdahl is going to be gone for quite a while. Gosick is almost back. And I think our lines are. Yeah, that looks about right. And let's see how we do in the first game against Lindenwood. And we come up with a 2-1 win. Lumens is the first
Excellent.
star. The Lindenwood goalie had a pretty good game. We had 39 shots on him. You see the new team stats screen that we added in the last update.
Which you looked at in our previous stream.
Yeah, position is pretty even. Oh wow, put up a lot of shot attempts, 261. Mostly fairly low quality though. And dominated on face-offs. Looking pretty good, so I think I'll maybe switch it up and put the backup goalie in for. No, they're the best team in the country. We'll go with the starter again, even if he's a little tired. Although Garrity, the backup, we didn't really expect to play at all this year until Elias couldn't get his grades up. Garrity's 0.97 goals against average in the handful of games he's played this year. But you can see Breveris down there in the win leaders who's had the. Gosick already to go? Not quite. Still 80%, so we'll leave him out of this one. And game 2 against Lindenwood. Can we win both of them?
Let's hope.
We can. 4-3. Celebrating with 3 points in the first star. And he should be the leading scorer in the league again. Yep, and we should be the number one team in the country right now.
So setting up for a perfect upset, huh?
Yeah, it worked for us last year. Won the conference tournament and then wound up going out early in the national tournament.
So Jeff, how long until you put achievement about yourself in the game?
What sort of achievement should I have?
Well,
Oh
be
no.
ranked first and get upset in the first round. Just call it
Oh
the Jeff
dear.
special.
The Notre Dame just lost a player to the worst injury in the game.
Oof, ruptured testicle.
Yeah, not fun.
P-Wog, my cuz, a Knights fan, your take on Vegas Golden Knights acquiring Teddy Bluger from Pittsburgh in exchange for defenseman Peter DeLabora and a third round pick in 2024.
Pretty good pick for Vegas. I don't think they really paid much for him. So I mean,
Again, it
that's the
was
thing that's confused me about why the Penguins are going in one direction. Looked like they were maybe starting with a rebuild, and then they did the other trade. Or
I
actually, no, the
feel
Bluger
bad
thing
for
was later.
people are blaming Hextall, and I get it, but at the same time, Hextall's kind of hamstrung because he's got Sidney Crosby and he's got to
Yeah,
try and win with Sidney Crosby, so he had to keep his buddies, which I mean they should do, but
I mean,
that that
give it a
team's
couple of years, let the Penguins completely collapse as Crosby's about to retire or retires, and then they'll somehow miraculously get the number one pick overall when there's a franchise player available and keep the
well,
streak
that's a
going.
well, that's kind of the thing though, is like they're stuck in the middle and they can't really do either or. And so they're stuck in like hoping that these 37-year-old guys or whatever they're kind of at now
They'll get hot for
can
one more playoff, and
yeah, can kind of pull them up and they can't quite get there and
it's going to take a little. I got to check the schedule, see when the next game is, but this is typical for the way college hockey works. It's 2 games a week, generally Friday and Saturday, and if you get a week off, it can be a while before we can sim around to the next one. That's why it's got a little bit of a break here, and we're also getting into December where it occasionally gets time off. So I'll check this. There we go. Okay, yeah, we had the week off there. That's why it was a little while before that game. But we're back against Michigan State now, who's not having a good year, and then we're going to have Ohio State next week and a couple of weeks off after that.
I will say this, there's not been a lot of things where I've been on the trade so far in the real NHL where I've been like that's a bad trade. Sorry, sorry, let me rephrase that. There's not been a lot
Did
of
you
trades
miss the
where
Genoa one?
one team I go, okay, I get why they're getting the guy. There's been a lot of trades where I'm like, you gave up how much for what? This
Yeah, there's
Pittsburgh
been a
one, getting
few.
Granlund is a little bit questionable, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it pays off. I just can't believe they gave up a second round in this year's draft, too.
Do I have Novak on the? Oh, maybe that was supposed to be Mellenbacher's spot. And yeah, okay, that's right.
I guess we should be honest here, too. The most interesting thing that happened in the past week we haven't even talked about, Jeff.
What was that?
The new GM in Nashville.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not really much of a surprise.
I mean, a head coach turning into a GM who's had like very little.
I mean, he knows the team. He's been around forever. So, and we beat Michigan State in the first game to keep the.
He knows the team, but all the guys he knows are getting moved out.
Oh, I forgot to. I've been checking the email. I should have seen the national poll and where we finished there. We should have been number one, I assume. 1 second. College hockey poll, November 25th. Yep, we're number one in the country.
Yeah,
And a
right.
bit of a
Okay,
backup start.
had to go back to check this to make sure.
What's that?
David Poley retiring on June 30th. So again, let's ask the audience here because Jeff, you might know the answer. I don't know if anybody else does. What was the first team David Poley started working for?
Well, Calgary.
And you know how you're not the audience, Jeff,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
and
And
you're
the
still
5-2
wrong.
into the backup in
You are still wrong, anyways.
Washington.
Incorrect.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember this when I was doing the setting up the historical staff.
That's why
We
you're not
scouted for
supposed to say
somebody.
anything.
Yeah,
And we're waiting to see if anybody gives a response in less than 10 seconds.
his dad, Bud Boyle, longtime player, coach, GM in the NHL. So yeah, kind of an into the league. So I think that's how he got his first scouting job. But obviously made the most of it. Okay, development report. Akason, the new guy, up four. That's good.
All right,
Steinhoff in there. Yeah, Steinhoff two. Oh, well, only one.
just to satiate important. He was part of the 1972 Atlanta Flames expansion draft.
Well, I said Calgary. I mean, it's still the Flames.
You said Calgary, though, not Atlanta.
That's still the same team.
No, it's not.
It very definitely is.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, monthly finances can stay as they are.
The
And
Atlanta Flames went dormant and eventually became the Atlanta
what? No, they
Knights.
didn't.
Yeah, they became the Atlanta Knights and then eventually became the Atlanta Thrashers. That's how it works. It's you stay in the city, Jeff.
Okay, so they were a team that wasn't even in the NHL.
Yeah, they became an IHL team or
Not
ECHL
sure.
team.
No, Atlanta. Well, the Knights were in the IHL.
Was it IHL? Okay, I can't remember.
Okay.
Kim says, you know what they say? Calgary is the Atlanta of the North.
As you can see, we've changed the owner update for the college teams. It says athletic director now, so don't have that weird reference to an owner. And he's pleasantly surprised. Expects us to be a contender next year. And no need to worry about their job. So we're in good shape.
Beetle says, will you give Linus Allmark an upgrade in his ratings or leave him currently rated when you do your next update? He is having a
We,
great season.
yeah,
I
no,
think
we.
we need to increase his goal scoring ability.
I gave him the goalie shooter special ability the other day, but his numbers have been going up gradually over the last couple of updates. And if he didn't used to play well, it'll probably raise a little bit more this time.
It's really hard for a guy who is having a really good year to know like what next year is going to bring.
Particularly with goalies.
No, I mean in general. Like you remember original ratings on the Vegas Golden Knights?
Yep. I mean, well, those guys were left in the expansion and left available in the expansion draft because nobody else thought they were going to do that much. But
Well, I know, but my
yeah.
point was we re-rated those guys
Oh yeah,
how
through
many
the
times
season.
that year?
Yeah.
Because we all kept expecting it, to eventually
Okay, I think
kind
it's
of
our
drop.
last game for a couple of weeks. And Stramel is hurt, but he's only day to day, and he's at 80%. So I think he's okay for the first game. I might put somebody in for the second one for him. Anything else I need to change? Nope. I mean, we're winning, so I'm not going to do too much here. And Ohio State is close to us in the standings. This might be nope, not close. The game wasn't close. 4-1 win for us. Whitelaw, the second line center, with a couple of assists. And the first star selection went up 3-0 in the first. How did we do on? Yeah, had a pretty good possession advantage. A lot of offensive zone possession time. Look at that, 16 minutes in their end. And put a lot of pucks at the net. Good. So game two. Oh no. Coolman's is hurt. Again, he got hurt at the start of this. Oh no. Our
Oh
captain's out
no,
indefinitely with a broken kneecap.
well that's not good.
So I gotta put Dexheimer in for him. Who's, I mean, he's up to 3 stars. Actually, pretty good. In fact, was he hurt or something? I didn't bring him back. He's too good to be sitting out. Oh no, we're just really deep on D. And Ramos down to 50%, so I'm going to.
Kim is chilling says goalie is an entirely
Do that.
vibe-based species.
Okay, Stramo is going to have to sit for somebody in this game. I think I'm just going to swap him for Zap, just because we like the name.
Yeah. How can you not like that name?
And I've got the option of delaying treatment on Coolemans, but if I do that, he's going to be bad the rest of this year. And broken kneecap, we've got about 3 months. I'm gonna roll the dice and hope we get him back in time. Let him get treated properly. It's just a little too early to be doing that. I hope I'm not wrong though.
Jeff, I think it's the right move.
We'll see. And give Garrity
Yeah,
another
no, Jeff,
shot.
I have a question because I don't know what the answer is. If you delay injury
Oh, we
treatment,
are winning streak just well, undefeated streak's okay, but the winning streak is gone. Ohio State beats us in overtime.
disappointing. Is it possible to cause a career-ending injury?
There's a it's going to be super rare. It's theoretically possible. I know there's. I was just looking at this the other day. There's a couple of injuries that are marked as potentially clear career ending, but the way it's working right now, I don't think I have that set quite high enough. So it's probably going to be extremely rare in the game.
Fair enough.
I was going to take a look at maybe bumping that up, but people hate injuries enough, so
Well, I
maybe we
still
should just
think
leave
you
it how
should
it
turn
is.
on a couple of those storylines that'll cause top prospects to suddenly retire from the game.
There are a couple that are still active.
I want all of them active and I want them consistent.
That'll be real popular.
Oh, I would love it,
Okay,
especially
so
with some of those ones we wrote.
Celebrini's slipped down the scoring leaders a little bit. Cooled off after that fast start. But we are still comfortably in first in the Big Ten. A couple games in hand over Ohio State, too, and we're up 4 points on them. So I think we're in good shape heading towards Christmas. So there's going to be a little bit of a break here because we had, I think, 2 weeks off before the games before Christmas week. And yeah, National Poll still has us at number one. Lindenwood hanging on after those couple of losses to us. They've been winning again, apparently. Rochester IT, third. Niagara, LIU, Miami, and there's Ohio State who we just beat. Well, split a series with Vermont, Connecticut, and Minnesota Duluth. And switch that back out for Strand, or Stramel rather. And take a quick look at our scoring. A little bit low. Well, I mean, the goalie's been playing really well, similar to last year. Cruz Lucius finally kind of having a breakout season. 15 points in 18 games, way past his total from last year already, and on pace for a 36-point year.
Nice. How's his brother doing in the NHL?
Let's check. Not too badly. Had played the whole season in Winnipeg last year and has got 16 points in 30 games this year.
That's not bad. Must be hurt a bit if he's only playing 30 games.
No, there are only 30 games in the NHL.
Really? I thought they'd be past that at this point.
It's
I
early
guess not.
December-ish. Jets are 16 and 14, fourth in the Central.
That's
Canucks
not
are, not
unsurprising.
surprisingly, doing terribly, although the Oilers are, all Canadian teams. Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, are the last three places in the Atlantic. Edmonton and Vancouver, last two places in the Pacific. Jets are
Toronto's
just
in
above
last. Oh
500.
no. Everybody's sad about that.
Calgary's the only decent Canadian team. Wow, the Leafs are really what went wrong there. It's hard to see because I've got the
Probably
relatively college stats, but
they're probably trying to play
Matthews there.
goaltending with one of those plastic goalies you use for practice.
Nope, Ilya Samsonov. Although he's having numbers aren't great, and Eric Comrie is his backup.
Buffalo's happy to get out of that contract, I guess. He'll be a free agent, but he's had a 3-year contract, I think, right? So, or
Not
not
sure.
3 years. They must have traded for him. Oh, I gotta know. Unless he got bought out, which is also possible. I'm going to check. Oh, that happened in your game as it is now. He's not on the team at this point
Who?
from earlier in the save.
Who isn't?
Uh, Comrie. They had Samsonov and Wall as their two goalies.
So I didn't. I mean, this is later though. So let me see how they got Comrie.
That's what I said.
Presumably, he was traded from Winnipeg after getting traded back there again, or picked up on
Why would
waivers
he
or
get
something.
traded from Winnipeg?
Because
He was
Winnipeg
in
keeps
Buffalo.
bringing him back.
Comrie? He's in
Yeah,
Buffalo right now.
yeah, but I mean, how many times has he been with Winnipeg? Like eight?
Once. Once.
No, no,
Then he got picked up on waivers and they claimed him back off waivers.
right, right. So he's been back there like 7, 8 times now, I think.
No, that's twice.
Well,
That's it.
it's close.
This isn't Paul Stasny or Matt Hendricks.
And Bruveris has jumped up into the goals against average leaders, so both of our guys are in the top 10.
Actually, I guess for that matter, another thing we haven't talked about, Jeff, is how basically it seems that Kyle Dubas was told they got to make it past the first round of the playoffs or he's getting fired.
Well, good luck with that.
Because they're just literally just throwing anything at the wall, hoping something works.
Would have been nice if the Canucks had been able to get on that other than Shen. I mean, we did get a 1/3 round out of them, so I'm not going to complain too much. That was a good
They
deal
said
for
they're
us.
not done yet, or there's rumors they're not done yet.
Well, and JT Miller, give us some first rounders.
They don't have any first rounders to give anymore.
Oh, okay. And probably no prospects either. Okay, we're still number one, not surprisingly, and we got the game against Michigan Tech today. Oh, we were going to look. How did?
Don't worry about it. Leafs have like 5 Russians who you've never heard of, who everyone thinks is going to be the best.
Comrie, how did he wind up back in Winnipeg? Signed as a free agent.
And they just might be, just to be clear.
First game against Michigan Tech. And no, they took us to overtime. 3-2 win. Wow, Smith, the Michigan Tech goalie, 46 saves on 48 shots. So he's the first star. I kept them in that game. They're not having a good year. Big Ten in general looks a little weaker than it has been in the last first couple of seasons of the game. Michigan finally picking it up, though. They're in second place now. It looks like Ohio State slipped back a little bit. And, okay, yeah, this is one point in the season where we lost somebody here. We're not, we don't have the back-to-back games. It's 3 different teams. Oh, well, Whitelaw is playing in the World Juniors, I guess. So I will dress. Let's give Morrison a shot now. And 2-0 shutout win over RPI. And I think we got one more of the odd games this week that aren't in the standard series. Yep, Maine tomorrow. Going to give Rivera's a start in this one too. I think he should have had a day off and will be reasonably well rested. And 4-1 shutout win over Maine. So 2 shutouts this week. Pretty good result. How are we doing? We got a few minutes left. And we're back to the normal schedule starting next week. Yeah, next week. And finally, one of our left wings is improving at right wing. So
Excellent.
hopefully get him over to natural right wing in a little bit. Celebrini's still holding on to third place in the scoring leaders, although he's got a couple of guys creeping up on him.
Man, the Red Flyer Tigers are doing well. So if I call them the Red Flyers because of our
Nick.
friend Red Flyer.
Yeah.
Don't let
Rochester
anyone know
Institute of
I said that.
Technology. And wow, Whitelaw had a very good game against in the World Juniors against Slovakia. 88 game rating and 4 assists and a 7-1 win.
I want to know what happens when there is like a 35-year-old hockey player in the NCAA.
It's theoretically legal.
There was a 40-something-year-old NCAA football player playing linebacker.
I remember that guy. Yeah, let's just a second look up who the oldest guy is in the league. Should give us all the NCAA guys. 27-year-old. So that Finnegan guy at
That we saw on that
Lindenwood
team.
and a on the LI. You guys probably got the same issue as Lindenwood. And BU's got a 26-year-old goalie. That's probably the oldest guy that actually should be there right now. So that's been a pretty successful week so far, I think. We did reasonably well in the draft. Did lose one game in overtime. Other than that, we haven't.
It's not a draft, Jeff.
Sorry, the National Signing Day.
That's better.
Oh, and this will be the logical time to leave it off because we're on Verbal Commitments Day.
Gonna end a little early. That's not a bad plan.
Let's take a look look around around the league and around the game. Okay, Celebrini. 29
Okay,
points,
I know the
21
first thing I
goals.
want you to check.
What do you want me to check?
No, you check around the league. Go ahead, and then when you get off the NCAA,
Okay, just gonna have a look at our scoring. Did this a minute ago, but so Millenbacher off to a good second season. Shugnoth was hopefully back next year. Is up to 4 stars and having a good year. Buckberger as well in his second year. He's already matched his point total from last year. Lucius, we mentioned him. Stramel he's producing okay, but kind of a disappointment. He's a wings guy, isn't he?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. NHL property of Detroit. Whitelaw is away at the World Juniors right now. You should take a look at how the World Juniors are going. And Gosick, who's a rookie, has been reasonably productive. Skahan, another freshman, has been doing okay. And the goalies, Garrity, who shouldn't have played at all, but has actually wound up doing surprisingly well. And Rivera's, the unexpected starter, 15-1. Nice. And wait, what was it? I just said a second ago what I was going to do. World Juniors, right?
Yes.
And yeah, just parks underway. U.S. is undefeated so far. So is Canada.
As kind of you would expect,
Yeah.
hopefully.
What did you want me to look up?
Well, again, because we haven't, or we started this game early enough, I'm curious to see what's going on in the WHL and how bad the Winnipeg Ice are. Because the
Not that
Winnipeg
bad.
Ice
They're 18-14.
well, that's not bad. They were like in real life, they're going to be significantly worse because they're all in and they basically have no draft picks left
Yeah.
other than
Well,
late
this
round
was
stuff.
the start of
Yep.
the
So like 3 years from now, it's going to be
yeah. Usually we
it's a
were
lot of
using
half star
this
guys though.
original database, so it's because we started this game fairly shortly after release.
Half star guys playing too.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well, these are half star guys by college standards, so they look a little bit better in WHL terms. Well, they got no scoring at all. Leading scorer is 26 points in 35 games. Looks like they're yeah they've got a yeah the goalie's holding a minute. 19-year-old, no,
you
19-year-old
gotta
rookie,
own up to what you
and one guy they got from yeah there's brought in some 17-year-old from Denmark who looks like he might be a decent prospect.
interesting.
And going on the NHL. Wow, New Jersey 27-5-5. Going on there.
Nice.
Oh yeah, the young guys are all working out.
What's Tampa looking like?
Yeah, they should be in cap trouble. Should I know 1912? Oh yeah, the Atlantic's looking like kind of a weak division. They're only 1950, but they're second overall. And hey, Peawauk Wings are looking really good in this, but I'm guessing they've got a bunch of players they don't really have anymore. Jarov Stamko's still doing good. Julevi is finally breaking into the NHL and doing pretty well.
10 years later.
Yeah, finally put down the Xbox and started developing. Cal Foot is still with them. And yeah, oh yeah, Vasilevsky is probably the biggest reason they're still doing okay. But what is going on with the Wings here? Oh yeah, okay. Vrana has got his act together in this one. He's about a point per game. Where's Larkin? Oh, he's missed some time with an injury. That's why he's that far down. And I don't see Hronik. Do I want to know how he wound up?
Maybe he's on the AHL team.
He's with the Jets. 20 points in 34 games. How'd he wind up there? Oh God! Traded for Jansen
Jansen
Harkins
Harkins
in a fourth
and a
rounder.
fourth. I'd feel okay about that trade.
Yeah, I bet you would. I don't. That doesn't make me feel any better about the Canucks giving away a first rounder for him. No. It looks like he was traded 23-24. No, he would have had a. Well, he would have been a UFA going into that. Ronick would have been a UFA going into that season. Are the Wings trying to cut salary there? Not sure. And yeah, Jack Hughes leading the NHL in scoring, and McDavid a few points behind. And he recently traded Timo Meyer as fourth.
All right, all right.
And Hellebuck, so the Jets only being 19-19 is second overall in wins, so he's presumably playing nearly every game for him. 36 games, then they've got Colin Delia as backup. Not doing very well. 561 goals against average, 851 save percentage.
It might be time for an upgrade there.
Who have they got?
Home, I saw.
Yeah, Holmes having a good year in Manitoba. He should probably be called up. Salmon playing in the Finnish Elite League and doing reasonably well.
Oh, he went back. Okay.
Yeah, Jared Moe also having a good season. Oh, they got options. Gravel in the Quebec League. Yeah, they got prospects, but just not.
Actually, both the Finnish goalies have been doing well in the AHL this year.
Veteran. So there's their lineup. Anything obvious missing there? Oh, look, they got Granlund.
Let me take a look here.
Left wing looks a
No
little.
Blake Wheeler. Looks like he's gone.
No, he's there.
Uh,
Third on the right
oh,
wing.
sorry. Yeah, you were covering him. Neil Pionk appears to be gone.
But most of the team is intact, I think.
Minor guy's gone.
Getting a little old. Brad Lambert, he's finally starting to play.
Coming. Oh, I don't see Rutger McGurdy
Nope, there he is.
or okay.
Just finally left college hockey,
Oh yeah,
and he's hurt
prospect.
right now. Not
And
off to a great start,
who's the other
Manitoba.
one? Chaz Lucius.
And he was, yeah, no, we left him earlier. He was playing. A little thin at center. David Gustafson,
Oh
number
yeah,
two
right
guy,
there.
he's
Okay,
not
well,
scoring at all. Lowry is declining, looks like. Only 4 points in 18 games this year, so he might be done. Cole Perfetti breaking out.
Lowry needs a good player with him.
Yeah, and that's the Jets. It's hard to tell because they've got the star
Yeah,
ratings relative to
defense,
college
defense,
hockey, but they're
defense looks a little rough there. Yeah,
well,
Brendan Dillon's
they
gone. Neil
brought in Mike
Pionk.
Hoffman apparently, and he's actually having a bit of a well, no, he's hanging on at
Oh,
35.
oh, what's his name? I don't see the tall guy or
The tall guy,
the other guy,
the tall
Logan
guy, or the other
Stanley.
guy.
Logan Stanley and the Minnesota defenseman who's a rookie. Uh,
Logan
Dylan
Stanley is
Samberg
captaining the Newfoundland Growlers in the ECHL.
and Samberg. Samberg is the other one.
Stanley looks like he got traded to the Leafs at the end of 2023-24, and he
With the
looks
rights to Ivan Telgin, the last like a remaining Atlanta Thrashers connection
and didn't delete
outside of Wheeler.
Niemela, who's in Manitoba, and yeah, it looks like Stanley has gone downhill at 26. Who's the other guy? Sandberg?
Yeah, and we'll start wrapping it up here, I guess.
Yep. He wound up in Ottawa. Do you wind up in Ottawa? From the traded to the Senators in also around the same time, late 2023-24, and he's doing okay. Looks like he's playing regular.
Good. All right. With that, then, thank you very much for tuning into another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTP developments, and every other week on our Steam page, such as right now. You can find all of our streams archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP developments. Streams going live at approximately 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. Of course, you can come down to our official website, you can also find us on facebook.com/franchise hockey manager. On Twitter, we're at franchise hockey. We can find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio. And you come down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right hand corner, which will let you come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, the recently announced Out of the Park Baseball 24, Perfect Team Go, or anything else you wish to discuss. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. Still working on the what will hopefully be the last. Well, it'll be the last big update. We may need to do a hot fix or two after that. As I said, it's probably going to be later this month. It won't be immediately after the trading deadline, although it will have the updated rosters. That'll give us a little bit more time to work on those, and we got a bunch of new stuff we want to get into the game for that last one. And that will be back next week with Adam's Columbus Blue Jackets game, where he still hasn't gotten fired yet.
Winning as we can.
And then we'll be back the week after that with this, and we'll be at the Verbal Commitments Day, so we'll be able to. Let's just quickly take a look. I just want to see if there's any interesting Wisconsin guys coming up. Yeah, another weak year for Wisconsin. It's a little odd. I wonder why we're not getting. Hang on, let me just check the search for, let's say it was under 17 and Wisconsin. Okay, there's a couple of decent down there. Yeah, there's a couple of decent guys here, but they're really young, but kind of weak in general. A little bit surprised with that. I may have to take a little bit look at the player generation, see why it's doing that. Minnesota seems to be doing fine, but Wisconsin's weaker than it should. But anyhow, I'll check up on that, and then we will be back to do the verbal commitments in a couple of weeks from now. So thanks for coming out, everybody, and we will see you next week.